So when you're on the mound in the ninth inning, I know Frelick leads it off with a single, and then you got a big strikeout against the righty, and then Terang comes up. He's fast. He's tough to double up. When he put the ball in play, did you immediately turn around and know, okay, there's going to be 6-6-3 unassisted, or what was your thoughts there?
I didn't know right off the bat. I knew he didn't hit it that great. I knew it was going to stay in the infield. When I turned around and I saw where Lindor was, I honestly was just like drop, trying to get it to go on the ground. And he stayed back long enough to get it and scoop it up. And then my next thought was, okay, he's fast. Like, hopefully he's got enough time to get him at first. But yeah, when I saw that ball, I knew we had a chance at ending the game right there.
Hey, thanks for meeting us at the Apple. I'm Vito Calisi. You can follow me on Twitter at Vito F. Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron at JMB9191. And we're here with David Peterson. David, before we talk about you, your son went viral for getting on the field holding a sign that said, "Don't let the Mets get hot." Fans loved it. How did that come to be? Did he make that sign?
No, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, it started with I came out and I had the goggles on and whatnot, and he wanted a pair of goggles, so I went and got the goggles from the first time we clinched, and then eventually he was running around and found the sign and just started holding it up, and so we had to take a picture of it, and yeah, it was a funny moment.
No, that was I'm going to say the second biggest moment by a Peterson in Milwaukee on that night. The first one involved you, the double play that you induced, and Vito and I keep saying it's a bad day to be a worm whenever David Peterson toes the slab, and you've lived up to that. But that moment, you coming in, notching the save. I mean, that whole week, you pitching game 162, or not 162, the game in Milwaukee. You had a win, you had a save, you had a bunch of scoreless innings, scattered a few hits, but no moment bigger than getting the 26, 7, and 8th outs. Or no, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's the math. In Milwaukee. It's 5, 6, 7. The Mets take the lead. At what point are you preparing yourself to be put in the game to get those final 3 outs in the save situation?
It started right after Sugar got out of the 8th. Mendy had called down and said that I was in the game, and that Rosie turned to me and was like, "Hey, you're in the game. You got the 9th." So just started to play catch and warm up, and it just, it felt like something was going to happen. And so yeah, once Lindor got on, he got it going, and then Nemo, and yeah, it just I locked into kind of that mindset of, okay, I'm going to close this game out, and we're going to score these runs and be able to get the job done.
Now, I know you came out of the bullpen very successfully in 2023, and I'm assuming you were the Friday night pitcher at Oregon. Had you ever been in a save situation like that? I'm assuming not with the stakes that high, but did you have any experience trying to get the last 3 outs of a game before?
Yeah, I'd done it sporadically, like in college, summer ball, stuff like that, but nothing to that extent. So,
How much does your routine change, like based on like preparing for a normal start versus having to just be ready on like a day's notice?
I think it's completely different. I think it's nice that I've had experience in the bullpen in 22 and 23, and I've been able to kind of over time know how to make the shift, know what I need to get out of warming up in the bullpen and versus a start day.
And when that ball goes over the fence, like, I know my reaction. I put my hands on my head. We're all in disbelief. And then I think to myself, okay, how is Mendy going to get these last 3 outs? So you said that you knew before the 9th inning started that if there was a bottom 9, it's you. When that ball sails over the fence, is it beep just got real?
Not really. I mean, I think the way that it was kind of communicated to me was like, this is just going to happen. Like Rosie was like, you're in the game. So I was like, okay, it's going to happen. And when it did, I mean, we all went nuts in the bullpen. Then it was like, okay, we need to settle back down, lock it back in, and go get these 3 outs.
So when you're on the mound in the 9th inning, I know Frelick leads it off with a single, and then you got a big strikeout against the righty, and then Terang comes up. And I remember I was with my cousin, and I said, he's fast, he's tough to double up. When he put the ball in play, did you immediately turn around and know, okay, there's going to be 6-6-3 unassisted, or what was your thoughts there?
I didn't know right off the bat. I knew he didn't hit it that great. I knew it was going to stay in the infield. When I turned around and I saw where Lindor was, I honestly was just like drop, trying to get it to go on the ground. And he stayed back long enough to get it and scoop it up. And then my next thought was, okay, he's fast. Like, hopefully he's got enough time to get him at first. But yeah, when I saw that ball, I knew we had a chance at ending the game right there.
I mean, how incredible of a moment was that to see Francisco Lindor, who had been out for 2 weeks with a back injury, got to be the person to unassisted just sprint to second and make that throw to first?
It was awesome. I think, he obviously hated being out of the lineup and having to watch for those 10 days, 2 weeks, or whatever it was. And yeah, I think it was a really cool moment for him to be able to come back and help us in Atlanta, and then to be able to be a big part of that series in Milwaukee and do what he does. So yeah, it was cool to see him take it himself and end it and clinch.
Have you ever seen home runs like the few we've seen in the last week where, like we've said this, it feels like every home run is the biggest home run in Mets history?
I mean, I feel like the last time I've seen it like this is 2015. Like, that's honestly, I think there's runs that guys go on, but to the magnitude of the situation that we've been able to do it in, and just the amount of different guys that have done it, it's been incredible to watch.
Yeah, I think that's what's awesome. I think 12 Mets have taken a plate appearance this postseason, and 9 of them have at least one RBI. I mean, Mark's homer on Sunday, I guess it kind of gets forgotten about a little bit because you guys wound up not winning the game. But, that moment is how does that happen after the other moments we've seen? Now, in the bullpen, you guys have had some big moments too. And in game 1, you relieved Kodai, and you did a great job bridging the gap to the back end, keeping the score where it was, letting the bats go to work, scoring 5 innings, or scoring 5 runs. What's your mindset going into that game, knowing that you're not just throwing 1 inning like it was in Milwaukee, but you are going to give the Mets some length there, and you're really the bulk guy, and it kind of falls on your shoulders to keep it right there and give them a chance to win?
Yeah, I think that for me was the closest experience I've had out of the bullpen to a start. Mendy had told me, look, you're coming in after Kodai. It might not be right after. Like, we're not going to put you in the middle of an inning. We'll have someone clean it up, and then you're going to give us some length. So I was able to kind of, once things started to move around, I was able to kind of start preparing the way I normally would, and then really able to do a lot of my full starting routine in terms of warming up on the mound. And so, yeah, I think I tried to treat it like that just because I did know the situation. I was going to have to give the team some length, and so was able to kind of treat it a little more like a start than just coming in relief.
So you're in the bullpen, a little bit different vantage point, not in the dugout. You guys have any fun superstitions or hijinks you guys are doing out there in the bullpen during these big games?
Not a lot. I mean, it's pretty normal. I think that it's been weird. We've had some guys call some of the home runs, which has been fun.
Who's the Nostradamus out there?
It changes hands a lot. I've seen a bunch of guys throw their hats down or call for the home run, and it ends up happening. So I think it's just, it's kind of about the group and who's feeling it.
Who called Lindor's grand slam? I know someone called it. No?
Maybe it might have been Drew Smith, because I was already in the dugout at that point. Because I pitched the last inning, and I think it was Drew Smith that had called it.
I think it was Drew Smith, because Liz Flynn has been sending me a bunch of pictures. I've been like, yo, send me your favorite pictures you've taken. And she sent me this picture of the bullpen on the grand slam, and we'll show it on the screen too, but zoom in.
He didn't know I was asking this question, by the way. Good job pulling that up. Timely.
Yeah, I think Drew called it. I would say so.
Did someone call Pete's home run
awesome.
in Milwaukee?
I don't know. I was warming up, so I didn't.
Right, you were business.
You were busy.
You're getting down to business.
Hey,
He thinks you're fooling around when you're getting ready.
No, I don't think that.
No,
I don't think that.
Because it's close right there, so I could hear if guys were talking and whatnot, but I don't remember if anybody called it.
Now, we've seen the biggest celebration we've seen at this ballpark yet, because it hasn't happened at Citi Field yet. Do you have any just special moments you had that night on the field with other guys, just with your family, that you'd like to share? Because the energy on that field that night, between the fans, between the players, it was just a party, and not like a rage party, just like a really fun, wholesome night.
Yeah, no, it was just felt like it was just pure elation from the fan base, from us. I think some of the things that stand out for me, just we've done it on the road a couple times, but finally getting to celebrate at home, and hugging some of the guys. When I hugged Nimmo, that meant a lot. Just some of the guys that have been here a long time. And then, yeah, I mean, I took a moment kind of when things calmed down a little bit and just stood on the mound and looked up at the fans and saw the joy and the happiness that they had, and just the celebration of the whole night. So, yeah, it was cool to kind of take that stuff in, especially in our ballpark.
Have you ever heard a stadium louder than this place was when Francisco hit the grand slam? Because I know you're in the dugout, and you had already come in the game, so you knew what was at stake, what was ahead of you, and then you throw the shutdown inning, which, by the way, that's the biggest thing. flipping a 0 up there and keeping the Phillies at bay. But in that moment, just how nuts was that from your vantage point, this whole place?
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of hear some murmuring in the dugout of, okay, something's going to happen. Like, and you could feel it. You could feel something, whether it was going to be a double ripped in the gap or a home run or whatever it was. Like, you could kind of feel that he was going to come through with something. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could hear the fans, but I couldn't hear them a whole lot because the guys in the dugout were going so nuts. So it was, it was as loud as it could have been.
We've talked about this. Like the biggest before that, there was a moment in 2015 in the regular season where the Mets hit 3 home runs in one inning,
Yeah.
and like it was the moment they took over the NL East. I've not heard the stadium that loud since Francisco Lindor's grand slam, and like I was in section 505, and I said this on our podcast the other day, and I'm not exaggerating. I almost passed out because it was so loud up there. And I screamed, and then like it felt like a flashbang went off because like it was just the whole place.
The flashbang did go off, by the way. we did have concussions with the pyro.
It was
out there.
absolutely nuts. And then we just asked Jose Quintana about this, but did you see Kodai Senga's reaction to the home run?
I did, yeah. He was kind of just upright from where I was sitting on the bench, and he was just like could not believe himself. So yeah, it was awesome to see, and the place was rocking.
Was it more special to do this against that team that you guys faced in the regular season? You know, they've been in the World Series and the LCS, and they win the division this year. And, you know, you guys lose a really tough game, too, in Philadelphia on Sunday. I'm sure their fans were probably acting up a little bit, thinking that they had done something big. And then to come back here and not let it get back to Philadelphia, to just put your feet down, and that's it. Is it a little bit more special? Because it is for us.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely stands out. Obviously a division rival, and they had been arguably the best team in baseball pretty much all year. And so, yeah, I think it was really good to get that first game in Philly, and then obviously a tough loss the second game. But I feel like from a team perspective, it didn't really do a whole lot to us to lose that game. Like, it didn't wear us down. You know, we fought, we played really hard. It was a hell of a game, and they ended up coming out on top. You know, it's going to happen. And I think that's kind of the mentality we had, and we were, after being on the road for 2 weeks, excited to be at home. And I think we just didn't want to go back on the road just yet. So
yeah, we didn't want to see Zach Wheeler again either. So that was cool.
Yeah, he's unreal. He's a great pitcher and has been for a long time. And it's always fun to go up against guys like that.
Now, before the game started, the game 3, the Mets played a video on the board, and it's before lineups go off, so it's like a time that you guys can actually, like, for the first time, see something playing. And it was that really cool video, the Wow, What a Story, of the storyline of the team. Do you get a chance to like look at those and like kind of take in, like, for even yourself and be like, oh yeah, this has been like a pretty insane year for this team?
Yeah, every now and then. Sometimes they'll have like the video feed in the clubhouse on the TVs during pregame and stuff like that. So, and then obviously it was all over social media. So yeah, I was able to see it, but it was cool. I think, you know, we're keeping ourselves in the moment, but it's cool to see kind of where this team was to where we've gotten ourselves now. And I think it only drives us going forward.
What are the viewing plans for Game 5 of the NLDS out west tonight?
I'll probably be at home with the kids and my wife, packing, unpacking, and getting ready to leave. Do
you have a different outfit planned for San Diego versus LA, even though they're
Similar
just 2 hours
weather.
apart?
Same weather.
I don't have anything planned right now. Nothing's locked in the suitcase yet, so we'll see.
Now, I asked Jose this. You're from Denver, so you've dealt with some chilly temperatures in your life. Whoever comes out of the other side of the bracket, that's a warm weather team. It can start getting chilly here in New York. How much of an advantage is it, in your mind, on the mound to be pitching in some frigid temperatures, especially against possibly guys who aren't used to it? I know, like, when the Miami Dolphins are in the playoffs and they have to go play like sub 50 degree temperatures, like, forget it. That's an L. I'm assuming in baseball that does make a difference, the temperatures, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it is kind of how you approach it, but I don't think hitters like when they get something off the end or they get something off the hands when it's cold. So, yeah, would use that to our advantage, and obviously being at home is an advantage in itself. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to whoever comes out of there.
All right, I have one last question for you. It has nothing to do with baseball. How do you keep your hair? Like, your hair looks perfect under your hat. Like, it has such volume. Like, I've never seen that.
It's not. There's a reason I'm wearing the hat.
I'm telling you right now, from this vantage point, you literally have like full volume under a hat. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've seen you do a lot of cool stuff this year. This is one of the most impressive I've seen.
I don't know. I just throw the hat on and see what happens, I guess.
I think the double play in Milwaukee. No offense to your hair. I think that was cooler than
The double play in
I
Milwaukee
agree.
was pretty sick, but I don't know. What he's doing right now is magic as well. I think I just want to give credit where credit is due.
6 1/3 scoreless in the postseason. That's pretty awesome.
Volume
Thank
under
you.
a hat. I mean, like, it's like this and this right now. All right, well, you have work to get to. You got to figure out who you're playing. You got to get on a flight
Got to
tomorrow.
pack his bags. You got to get the fits ready.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, David. You can follow this podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. I'm on Twitter at Vito F. Khaleesi, John at JMB9191. And you'll see this guy on national TV on Fox this week. So stay tuned.
Bad day to be a worm.
Thanks, guys.